We are here to share with you some tools and tips and ideas for gifts for your sewer, because I have it on good authority that Santa Claus or a lot of my friends are going to get new sewing machines for Christmas. So if you need some ideas on other sewing tools or accessories that she may need or they may need, then here you go. This is the big list of things that we use all the time in the sewing room. This is Shepherd. I'm Jane. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. He's going to help us out, I guess. I don't know. So the first thing that I will talk about is scissors. Scissors are extremely important. So you could get just a basic pair of scissors. These are fantastic. The tip is don't cut anything but fabric with them. Those are also a great pair of scissors. The Ginger scissors, if you want to get something a little higher end that will last a lifetime.
This is also
Ginger is the way to go, okay? But any scissors are fine. So they will need a big pair of scissors and they will need a pair of thread snips. So I'm just going to go real basic with all of this stuff, and then I'll make a big list and try to put some links under with where you can purchase the things. But you can always, most of the stuff you can get at Walmart, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, even drugstores and things. Like sewing supplies are kind of around everywhere. And you can get anywhere from low-end things to high-end things, and it's just about how you take care of it, if it lasts, in my opinion. So scissors, they'll need a big pair, they'll need a little pair, or the girls love these little thread snips. So if you can find these, that's kind of just fun because they think they're cool to play with. Oh, good question. Something else that is very helpful that comes in a lot of sewing kits is a needle threader. So that is, I bet most of you have seen this kind, and that's perfect. They'll break a little easier when you're pulling through, but you can purchase something like this. This has like a hook on the end. I don't know, that's how the makeup people do it, right? And something like this has different deals for different thicknesses of threads and needles and stuff. So needle threader's good. Scissors. Then, thank you, Shepherd. Something else that comes in handy is some sort of marking tool. So I really like just this simple tailor's chalk. It's really cheap. It does break very, very easily, but like I said, it's cheap. You can still use it once it's broken. Not a big deal. You can also find these little markers, which I do like a lot too, but they kind of tend to run out a little faster than I would hope, but they're not very expensive. They work well. They wash off with water like easy peasy. A lot of sewing kits and things will have like a pin like this, and that's fine as long as it says that it's like a dressmaker's marking pencil, or that it's gonna come off easily with water or rub off like chalk or something. Then that's what you need. Much better than using a Sharpie or a pencil that may not come off your fabric and kind of add something funky to the end. So what else? You want to show them these things now?
Yeah.
Okay. So something else that's super important, probably the second most important thing besides scissors, is a seam ripper. So most sewing kits come with a small seam ripper like this, which is perfect. Usually they have like a little lid over them. Most of mine, I've lost the lids because we use them a lot. You can also get bigger ones like this. They both work fine. Definite necessity, a seam ripper. You can get really cute, fun ones too online. Etsy, people make them with like spoon handles and stuff, which is really fun. So seam ripper. Oh, I forgot this needle threader. So this is a machine needle threader. I find it tricky to use, but I think it could be very useful for people that really struggle threading that machine needle. So it's definitely something to look into. It's not very expensive, and if you sit down to figure it out, I'm sure it's not hard to do either. So Put that down, bud. We're not ready for that. All right, what else do we need? We've got scissors, marking pins, those tools. Clips and pins. Clips. These are the clips that I like the most. I find them on Amazon. They come in a little tin for 100 or so for like $6-7. They're well worth it. They're perfect. You can use, most of the girls love these, or the kids love these much better than pins because they don't have to worry about getting poked. So pins, obviously, they're just easy. I would get something cute on the end because it's just more fun to have something like that. A longer pin is definitely what you need, a thin, long pin with the kids, because the short pins, they'll get lost easy and it's harder for the kids to put in and out. And then I do love a magnetic bowl for my pins. You can buy these in the sewing section of any store. You can get these. They're real heavy duty. They work fantastic. I got them at Harbor Freight. Real cheap. You can get all different sizes. They're fantastic. And as you can see, it keeps everything right there. So what else, Shep? That? We'll talk about that in a second. Oh, this is important. Safety pins. Definite need safety pins. The larger safety pins or a medium-sized safety pin is what you're looking for. And they'll use that to put elastic in, or cords and threads and things like that. We use them every day, all the time in the sewing room. These are the threads I like for sewing machines.
I love those threads. I sew.
And it's just, it's Coats and Clark brand.
Like these.
All right, listen, bud.
Like these.
It's a Coats and Clark brand thread, and it's just all purpose. That's what you need. I wouldn't worry about the shiny, sparkly ones or the metallic threads, because they're hard to use. They break really easily. They fray, and it's just going to make the kids really frustrated. So stick with Coats and Clark all-purpose thread. That's all you need. So that is that. What else? Fabrics. We got to talk fabrics, right? Oh, a pin cushion and needles. Definitely the kids can make their own pin cushion, which is what I've made this a long time ago. It's lasted forever. Lots of fun. I'll put up a quick video at some point on how to make a simple pin cushion. You can buy them, those little tomato pin cushions, all different things. Just somewhere to collect their needles and pins besides the little bowl. I use this for needles. I use the magnetic bowls for the pins, and that works for me. So the needles, I just pick up these packs, and it is a pack like this. It has a variety of sizes, from really small quilting needles to big. Did you put that in your mouth, dude?
Yeah.
That's not for eating. To big needles for yarn and things like that. So just pick up a pack of all-purpose needles. That'll last a very long time and be very needed. This hopefully is not toxic and will be okay. But it's wax. Wax.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not food.
It's for
And
our face.
I just put this in here. This is not like a necessity.
It's for our face.
It's not for your face. It's for sewing. But if your child or you are going to do a lot of hand work, I would pick up some wax, because when you use your embroidery floss or threads and stuff, if you run it through the wax, sometimes it just makes it easier for the thread to be threaded through the needle or to stay together. It makes your work a little bit neater. But like I said, it's not a necessity, but it's kind of a fun, cool thing to add to your sewing kits. A tape measure, I would say, is very helpful and useful. You can get all kinds, colors, some that pull out and retract like a tape measure, or the flexible tape like this. That's all you need. If you're getting into clothes, or maybe your child's wanting to make clothes, yeah, we have a whole bunch in the studio. You might want to get a little hem gauge. These usually come with most sewing kits. I really like this one. I use it a lot. because it's a little sturdier and easier to move up and down and lock down. So I would recommend that. You can find them at just anywhere you can get sewing supplies. Let's see. I'm just about to fabric. Oh, buttons, ribbons, trims, all those things are fun to collect. And I'll tell you what the funnest place to find things like that are garage sales, thrift stores, things like that. You can, a lot of times people will stop sewing or have all this stuff and they're not going to use anymore, and they'll just box up big boxes of it and sell them for super cheap. And that's probably where all of these buttons have come from. And a lot of my sewing tools and notions have come from things like that. So it's definitely something worth checking into. We're just about there. I know it's a lot of stuff, and I'll list it out, and I'm going really fast. One day maybe I'll go section by section, make little bitty videos for each particular thing, but today I just wanted to do an overall idea of things you could get your sewer. So what's next? This. If you have a sewer that you think would be interested, let me move all this stuff, in quilting or even like home deck kind of stuff, I would recommend a rotary cutter. Definitely get them for a child one that has a locking mechanism. That is helpful. And be sure, especially if they're pretty young, 8, 9, 10, you want to supervise this rotary cutting business, because it is tricky for kids, but not impossible. But it's a really handy tool for somebody that's going to get into, like I said, quilting or home deck kind of stuff. So with that, they're going to need an acrylic ruler of some kind. I like this one because it has a lip right here that will hook onto the edge of my mat and help it hold steady. So this one is definitely, and it's, I think it's Olfa. Yeah, lip edge ruler. I would definitely recommend. And then you'll need a cutting mat. So this little blue one is easy. You can pick it up anywhere, easy to store. You can get big giant ones like we have underneath here, but you definitely want that because you don't want your child cutting, no, that's not for you, onto your good table or the floor or something like that, because it will leave a mark. So you need a cutting mat. And that's their special place to do it. So I'm just about, let's talk about fabrics that are good fabric choices for beginning sewers, and then some good books and resources, and then we'll be done. So I would definitely recommend just getting several fat quarters to start with. And this, usually they come in a square like this. Sometimes they come folded in a rectangle, and it's just a quarter of a yard of fabric. So it's about this big, but get several of them, all different colors. They're just cotton fabrics. And they're not so big and overwhelming that the child can do all kinds of stuff. You could make scrunchies, hot pads, doll clothes, all kinds of things with fat quarters. So I would start there rather than just getting yards and yards of fabric. Because also, what I found out the hard way is a lot of times kids have a hard time remembering to cut like from the edge of the fabric. So if I have a big yard of fabric, they may cut out something from the very center, which kind of ruins the whole yard of fabric. So if you start off with small pieces like this, if they cut out of the center or whatever they're doing, you're not wasting a whole lot, and it's not that big of a deal. So fat quarters are the way to go. Also, stick to just cotton fabrics. Nothing silky, shiny, no tools, sequins, or anything like that, because they're going to get really frustrated trying to cut that into the shapes they want, trying to sew that because it's going to fray, get caught in their sewing machine and all of that. So stick to just cotton fabrics. There's many, many colors, patterns, and stuff, so you could definitely find something they're going to like. I also really like felt for beginners. You can get squares of felt all day long. Very cheap, easy for the kids to draw on, easy for them to cut. Just felt is the way to go. So felt, fat quarters, that's where I'd start with my fabrics. And then, okay, I'm sorry, I know this is long, I'm almost done. The last thing I want to talk about are some books and resources that they can look at to help them out when they're not in class. And Shep, you made a mess. I also recommend getting a babysitter for your 2-year-old when you're sewing. It's very helpful. Otherwise, you live with a mess like this. Right, Shep? Mm-hmm. So, the series that I really like is Sewing School. So, there's 4, I believe, in the series right now. 4 different books. The Sewing School 2 is the one that talks about using a sewing machine. So I know that's a lot of what we do here and what a lot of my friends are getting for Christmas. So I would definitely recommend Sewing School 2, and it goes over the basics of a sewing machine, threading it, bobbins, and all of that. Another book, I'm not so sure if it's easy to find a sewing school, but I really liked this one. It's called Learn to Sew Kids, My First Sewing Machine Book by Allison McNichol. That's this. It's got very clear, easy instructions. It's simple, it's small, and it's got some like little tracing things that you can copy or they can just tear out and sew straight from the book, as well as some really cute, simple projects to try. But I really like this one. If you can find that, I think that would be a great little resource. So the last series of books that I like are these. We Love to Sew books by Annabelle Wrigley. And there's 3 in the series. They all talk about using sewing machines. This one's gifts, bedrooms. But they have some really fun, unique projects that are sewing. Some are a little more crafty than sewing, but really cute, really unique. And I really like her style. So I think, is that about it, Shep?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot one thing. So, sewing machines. This is like tools and stuff for people using sewing machines and the little hand sewing. But you will definitely need to pick up some universal needles. That is important for your sewing machine. I just like the universal, works for pretty much everything. Definitely all the materials and fabrics that I've suggested. If they're getting into something beyond this, then shoot me a message. I'll tell you what needles to pick up. But I'll do a video on how to change your needle, because they're going to break a needle and it's going to be okay. It's not a big deal. But definitely need to pick up that. I think that's it. Have fun. There's nothing wrong. They don't need all of this stuff, and none of this is very expensive or costly, and it's easy to find. Yeah, and it's fun. Yeah. We'll try to post some links. Hopefully, Hazel, you can help me with that. And look out for videos 2. I'm going to make 2 really quick ones on threading your new machine and winding your bobbin. And that's that. Are we done?
I guess
Happy
so.
sewing. Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
Goodbye.